Hello, everyone. So today I just watched the new Ahsoka show, both episodes. Um, Honestly, it's interesting. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say about it. It's interesting. So the thing with it is that I like how they're setting Thrawn up, right? Because they're setting him up as like, oh, he's gonna be the one to take down the Republic, right? Even though they haven't really showed him yet, right? They tease him as like, oh, what's going to happen when Thrawn comes back? For some, war. For others, a new beginning. For us, power. Like they're making him out to be, some kind of like super Sith or super Jedi, but everyone knows he's not. Which I think is good. The only problem with that is that they're going to need to show him actually like doing stuff, you know, um, when the time comes to like bring him out and show what he's doing. He's going to have to like put on some big moves, right? If he doesn't put on big moves, then it would feel like he just got overhyped for nothing, which would suck. The criticism though, you really had to have to watch Rebels to understand what was going on in Ahsoka. Because if you didn't, you're completely lost. You have no idea who Thrawn is. Well, even if you knew who Thrawn is, if you didn't watch Rebels, you don't know what's going on, right? Also, in the hologram recordings, Ezra looked a little chunky. Like, well, not chunky is the wrong word, but like, I would like, it's just one of those things where it comes from like goes from like animation to live action. I always thought he was like Ezra weighed like 90 pounds and that was it. So it's a little weird seeing him in live action. It just looked like he put on a couple pounds, but I always thought him as like super skinny. But anyway, that's just a small gripe. There was though a lot of talking during it. I understand it's like setting stuff up, but it was like it wasn't that boring, but it was kind of boring because they were just talking sometimes, just only talking for the longest time, which I thought was meh. I understand it's like setup, but whatever. Another thing, the combat, like the lightsaber combat, it was good. It was okay. All right. For some reason, I thought it was like a little. It was like it was slow, which was a thing, which was weird. It's a weird thing that like the lightsaber combat was weird, right? Because like the lightsabers are actually like used how they were supposed to, right? Like they cut through things. They're not like bats like in the Obi-Wan show, which I found was nice. But I also thought that sometimes like the lightsaber combat was like slow, right? Especially with the Ahsoka versus that one dude on Corellia. The lightsaber combat felt slow, and maybe that's just like a personal thing. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, it felt slow, which is, I guess that's just up to personal taste. But so far, I think we can get down with some interesting stuff, right? I feel like this show does have potential to be good from what I've seen. Another thing though, I thought it was weird that they decided to make Sabine a Jedi. Like she's not really a Jedi, right? But it feels kind of weird. It feels weird to like she's becoming a Jedi, kind of, right? I do think that there is some like applications for that for people who can become Jedi but aren't necessarily Force sensitive. Like that could be a thing, right? But I feel like the whole point about the Jedi is that, you know, they have to have the Force to use, you know, like they use the Force and they have the lightsaber. It's a little weird to see Sabine not using the Force, but still being considered like a Padawan. It's kind of weird. It could be though that later in the future that she does unlock like Force powers, but honestly, I never saw that. Like watching Rebels, because I watched all of Rebels, I never saw that for Sabine. You know, it was just. I feel like that was just a really weird choice. Also, I'm sorry if you hear things in the background. It's just raining right now. But I feel like that was a really weird choice to make. You know, it's just. Me personally, I would not have liked to see it. I don't really think that's. It's not that I don't think that's right. It's just weird for a character to go that way, you know. Another thing as well. Damn, it is really raining. Shit. But anyway, another thing that's strange though is that she's not like Sabine doesn't feel the same, right? And I understand that she wouldn't after you know, Ezra basically sacrificing himself, blah blah blah. You know, but she doesn't just seem like the same character. Like she's got some elements of it, but it's not the same. I'm also really glad that they finally concluded on, or at least like gave what's the word? Clarity to the facts, like Sabine's and Ezra's relationship, right? Because throughout the like Rebel series, I never knew if they were like into each other. I don't know. I was like, are they supposed to get together or whatever? But then, thankfully, Ahsoka, like the Ahsoka show, was like, oh yeah, no. Ezra thinks of Sabine like a sister. I think the Sith people, I think they're interesting because we're not exactly sure what they are. We know one of them was once a Jedi, but we're not. But like, it doesn't feel like my fault. It doesn't feel like they're Sith. You know, it's weird. They're not. They're like Sith Jedi, right? Like, you know, it's interesting because we know one of them was a Jedi, right? But none of them were taught by a Sith. I don't think it wouldn't make sense for them to be. And it seems like they're mercenaries because, you know, they're doing stuff for money. But why? Like, if they're mercenaries, you think like Luke or Ahsoka would have, you know, found them out if they were mercenaries. Because obviously at some point they said something like, the pay is good. Right? Which is kind of weird. I kind of want to know more about them. They're interesting characters. Not so much like the dude, the graybeard, right? He's the most interesting, but I also want to learn about the masked dude, because he hasn't had a single line. He's just fine. Also, for some reason, in some scenes when him and Ahsoka were fighting, his lightsaber looked super small, which was weird. They just look small. Also, I thought the map was dumb. I thought that was dumb. Like, Ahsoka brought it to Sabine and was like, we need your artistic eye, right? And I could see some value in that, but like, we need your artistic eye. And all she did was like rotate it. It was just a Rubik's Cube, you know? It was just rotated and the map's open, right? Like, I feel like Ahsoka didn't even, like, try to open it herself. She's like, oh, we need Sabine for it. Nothing else, right? So a little weird. I didn't think the map was, you know, I feel like that was just a plot convenience, you know? But, another thing. I think the whole, like, a different galaxy thing is interesting, because that opens a lot of doors, right, of what could be in other galaxies. And we might see, in the future, we might actually see some stuff from Legends, like what were they called? Vuvan Klong, whatever it was, I forgot. But we could see some stuff about them, or like other Legend stuff from the other galaxies, which would be interesting, which would further expand the Star Wars lore, because we knew about the unknown regions, right? but other galaxies is interesting. And Ezra and Thrawn are in this other galaxy, which I also think is interesting. The Dathomirian witch person, I don't, meh. I know she was in The Mandalorian when Ahsoka and Mandalorian teamed up to take her down, but I think that's where she came from. I'll correct myself if I'm wrong, but yeah, like I don't find that interesting, right? She's not an interesting enough character for me to really care. She hasn't done anything cool, I'll be honest. Where's Zeb? You know, if we're getting the gang back together, you know, Hera, Ezra, and Sabine, I forgot her name for some reason, but if we're getting the gang back together, where's Zeb? Like, you think he would want to go find Ezra as well, right? And since Hera's a commander, they would be like, oh yeah, Zeb, let's go. Also, I want to see more of, like, Chopper, you know? Like, and this may just be, like, you know, me wanting to see more of, like, the Rebels people, but I want to see, you know, Chopper again. I want to see him, like, running around, rolling around, doing his thing. He was just sitting there most of the time, which I thought was, like, meh. Which I thought was, like, meh, you know? So, you know, I think they will bring in Zeb at some point, like, they have to, right? But, you know, I want to see all my boys back together. Oh yeah, another thing, where they used the I don't know what kind of trope it was called, but they used, like, you know, like they're standing there, and the person turns around and the other person is just standing there, like, you know, like in a horror movie or whatever. I'll show it on stream, but they use that trope way too often. Like, it was cool in the beginning, right? When Ahsoka came out for the first time, she was like, okay, I found the map and whatever. She turned around and that robot assassin was there. That was cool, but they overused it a lot, and they used it when it didn't really didn't make sense either. For example, when Ahsoka and Sabine were meeting again after Sabine cut her hair, she was you know, she was looking at the painting, the wall painting. She turned around and then boom, she was just standing there. Like, you know, it's like, I felt like that was a little overused, you know. If they use it anymore, I mean, hopefully they don't, right? They only use it more sparsely, because it's starting to lose its effect, you know. But yeah, other than that though, I think that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'm excited for next Tuesday. Yeah, I'll see you guys around. See ya.